Uh, uh.
Hey, sports fans, this is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes here live on this Saturday morning with another edition of What's Happening College Football. I got my man, Mr. Claiborne of City League TV with us. How you feeling, Mr. Claiborne?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. How about you guys this morning? How you doing, Brother Rob?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Great to be seen. Great to be seen.
We also got our man FanDuel Zaya of the FanDuel Zaya podcast. How you feeling this morning, bro?
Man, I'm good as I can be. Man, I lost one of my sandbox brothers, but I'm trying to get ready for this funeral. But you know, God don't make no mistakes, bro.
Yeah.
Man, sorry to hear that, bro. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Prayers and condolences, bro, to his family, to you, everybody who knew him. You know, hey, man, life is tough. Hopefully, you can bond together and have some good times and good conversations and memories together, talking about your family, buddy.
Show.
That's right. Sorry.
All right, so today we want to talk a little bit of what's happening in college football. And we got some games on the slate that we want to talk about. So we're going to go ahead and get right on into it. One of the questions that we had out there was colleges and universities are thinking of getting corporate endorsements and add the company's decal to their uniform, to their sports uniform. What's your thoughts on that? And would you want to see decals on your team's football jerseys?
Man, don't this sound a lot like what the NBA went through? I just think we headed towards ownership, bro. Like it's really, it looked like the writing is on the wall right now, you know. So I mean, you starting to see them decals on the NBA jerseys on the courts. I mean, they getting that sponsorship money too from that. So that's what I feel. I feel like it's looking clear, like we're moving towards that ownership type aspect into the college world.
Hey, they throwing that bread out there, so I have absolutely no problem with it. However you have to get that money to pay these players. Hey, go ahead and do it. This is semi-pro now, so this is the minor leagues. This is whatever it is up under the NFL, up under professional. This is what it is. So hey, throw it on a jersey, throw it up on a jumbotron. Hey, do what you got to do to get that money so we can get these players.
Yeah, I'm quite sure all of these companies and corporations want to be in the college sports arena. They want to go ahead and get them a piece of that pie too. I can I don't mind them having those making those endorsements. I don't know that I want to see nobody's decal on my Texas Longhorns uniform though. I don't know how I feel about
that.
But I don't mind it being posted around the stadium, the university, like you see Coca-Cola signs and that kind of thing. I don't mind that. I don't know if I want to see it on. I wouldn't mind it being on the field. I don't mind it being anywhere around the stadium or any of the arenas, but I don't know that I want to have it on my football jerseys. Now, if they put it on like a tennis shirt or golf shirt or something like that, I don't mind that. I don't know about the football jersey though.
Well, listen here, bro. You know, dang on well if Riker Ford is throwing out 20 $20 million a year, they gonna want it all. They gonna want it all. And there ain't no doubt about it. They gonna want that. They gonna want that name on that jersey. Just like because that's what they doing. I admit it looks ugly on the NFL jersey. I admit I don't like it. I think it's really, really dumb that they got them logos on them NBA jerseys. Now they're not really big, but I mean it looks kind of goofy to me. I'm sorry, I don't like it, but I understand it because it's a money thing.
Do you think that they should make these decals color coordinated with the team's colors?
Absolutely, and I think that may be what throws me off. That may be the part that throws me off because you have a yellow jersey and then the logo on there is green or something. So yeah, it needs to be.
I don't think you messing with somebody's brand when you do that though. That the whole point of the brands getting on them jerseys though is to bring advertisement. You don't want to like Wish, for instance. They got a blue emblem and it say Wish. You don't want to turn it red. Nobody, you know what I mean? You want to keep your emblem so you can be recognizable, and that's how you get your business in. That's me personally. If I had a brand, I ain't changing nothing about my emblem. Maybe you need to get with a team that fits into your color scheme.
Yeah, I know for LSU, they're dealing with this situation right now as we speak, and they are trying to get whoever these companies are, to color coordinate it to their colors. I don't know how successful they're going to be, but I mean, I think LSU should try to do everything they can to get it that way. Otherwise, it might look crazy on your jersey. You know, I remember when we watching Ivan Lendl, who was a prominent tennis player back in the days, and he was considered the $6 million man because he had all these different brands all over his shirt. People were endorsing, these companies were endorsing him. I don't know if I want to see all of that, but I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see how this thing works out. But I know corporations and companies, they want to be in the NCAA sports business for sure. Felix Ojo apparently has been offered $5.1 million fully guaranteed for 3 years. How do you feel about that situation?
Who offered him that, y'all?
No,
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
It was somewhere in Texas, huh?
I mean, Texas Tech wasn't even in his Final Four. He only visited them one time, and it was an unofficial visit.
And I believe Ohio State was one of his tops. Wasn't we?
Yeah, y'all was in the top 4. Yeah.
Yeah, we was one of them tops, and as you know, we don't match offers. We don't do that.
Did he commit?
Yeah.
That kid committed for that 5.1.
Yeah, he committed for that.
Hey, y'all, I'm gonna go in and come back. My sound went bad.
Okay.
What did I tell y'all? I told y'all that Texas Tech, they might be able to make a move in this Big 12 with that money that they got. This is a good step for them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we all playing on the even field right now, you know? We all got a cap now, so they better spend their money wisely.
Talk a little bit more about that. What's the cap? I haven't seen an actual number. I mean, I know it's out there, and I haven't really actually researched it, but what's the cap right now?
It's 20 and a half, but this ain't got nothing to do with
Okay.
That's just your cap that a school can spend on a roster. That has
Oh,
nothing to do with endorsements that you can get. So you
right.
can still make unlimited money, but everything got to go through the clearinghouse. So
Yeah.
this is what they doing. They like, all right, boom. Say Donato's come and offer you NIL endorsement contract, right?
Mhm.
And your school want to pay you. Say we got the 3 years, 5 million. The endorsement, they be like, all right, we're gonna give you this amount of money, such and such, such and such. But they gotta go through the clearinghouse, and the clearinghouse gotta say, okay, this is right value for um this is the right value for the type of NIL deal that you are warranted. So if they feel like somebody is trying to overpay a athlete as far as their endorsement, so this is what happens. So say just for instance, it's 500,000 that Donato's is offering. Say the clearinghouse only think the deal should be 300,000. What these programs is gonna have to do is they're gonna for that number to be 500,000 for that recruit. That recruit, he want that 500,000. That extra 200,000 is gonna have to come out of the cap.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So the clearinghouse, I don't know. I don't get how they gonna be able to actually be like, oh, this is a fair value NIL deal because who are they to tell somebody it's a fair value deal in the first place?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how you
I
can
believe. Go ahead, Zay.
no, go. I was done. C1. Go ahead.
I believe that the player's value is set by I would like to say probably about the highest price that a university is willing to pay that player, or the median or whatever whatnot. But let's say just like right now that lineman that committed to Texas Tech. So we know right now his 3-year market price is set at $5.1 million. That's what his is set at. So he got to get that much money. So, and Texas Tech is the one who said that. He didn't set it. Didn't no other school said it. Texas Tech said it. They said, hey, we're willing to give you $5.1 million for 3 years. And it's guaranteed. Fellas, can y'all believe what's going on right now? Well, no. Brother Rob, can you believe it? Because we the OGs out here. This is crazy.
Yeah. I never thought it would come to something like this. I mean, because if you look at this thing over 3 years, that's what, like 1.7.
Almost, yep. Almost 2 million.
So that's 1.7 of their 20.8 or 20.5 million that they're gonna get every year. I mean, if you're giving a guy already it's almost $2 million of that 20.5, you don't leave yourself with a whole lot of wiggle room when you do something like that. That's a pretty big contract.
And that's why I wish they would drop down the breakdown because just like I was explaining to you, that can be some of that can be paid off by the endorsement, and they can be paying the rest with the cap. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's why I wish they would drop the details on some of these contracts.
But see, when they throw that out there right now, though, they're throwing that out there without an endorsement deal. So does that mean that they can?
Yeah, that's no endorsement.
No.
Yeah,
No,
can they come back later on and add an endorsement to help pay some of that 5.1?
So no, you know how it worked, bro. You know, with our collectors, we already got people at the table that's willing to pay some money. You know what I mean? So we probably don't know who's at their table, but just like we got a right card, we might be telling right card, we really need this kid. He's a 5-star athlete. Can y'all put 300,000 on this kid? You know what I'm saying? We don't know who they got at the table. That probably was already discussed, and the details just ain't came out. But watch what I tell you. As soon as he hit campus, you might start hearing, oh, he got endorsements to such and such and such and such. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't came out yet.
Okay. That's very interesting, man, because I don't know, man. They got to get a handle on this thing for sure, man. to really, I mean, and put it in layman's language so we can understand the crap. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't got to do no whole bunch of daggone reading, looking up words and all this other stuff, man, to figure out what they're really saying. Because that right there kind of blew my mind. Because I thought Ojo was either going to go to Texas or Ohio State, in my opinion. And I thought Texas was the front runner. But I thought Texas would lose ground because he wants to play left tackle. And Texas knew they were going to get John Turntine. So I figured that's why he went in that direction. And then when you drop $5.1 million on a kid, he's going to be like, oh, yeah, for sure, I'm going there. But they weren't even in his top 4 is what blew my mind, too.
Hey, he need to be developed, though. I done sent y'all the videos of him getting torched.
He need to be developed. Yes, he needs to be developed.
So how is he a 5-star if he still needs to be developed? I'm not getting that one right there.
It's
If he a
always based
5-star,
on physical.
5 stars don't need develop. 5 stars supposed to be able to be plug and play. You're a 5-star, you're supposed to be able to come in and play right away.
It's always based on physicalities, like your numbers. He's 6'6". He like 6'6", 270,
Oh, yeah, he's a big boy.
275.
He's a big boy.
But
He's a big
he
boy.
got the tools. You can see it. He got the tools. He just need to be coached up, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick. Did y'all see the video of Brandon Jacobson that's been floating around on the internet? Y'all remember Brandon Jacobs, the running back for the Giants?
Yeah.
And remember he was a huge running back. He was like 6'3". His son plays offensive line for Clemson, and he's like I want to say he's like 6'7". Just a huge cat. They was working out together, and son was next to Pops. Son was huge. I was like, wow. But yeah, it's going. Now get back to Ojo real quick. Zay, help me understand this, because all right, he already has this contract, this $5.1 million contract, which, as we said, is going to give him roughly $1.7 million per year for 3 years. Goodness gracious! Now you're trying to tell me that there's a salary cap, because it's going to be, we need to be a little bit more understanding about this thing right here. So they have this salary cap. This player's getting this 1.7 against the salary cap. Now, are you saying that the endorsements that come in is not included in the salary cap? Because this kid could potentially also earn a whole nother $1 million in endorsements off of endorsements. So
the endorsement has nothing to do with the 20 and a half.
Well, so what do they have a salary cap for? Because all that means is, okay, we're going to play this game, and you know how they play the game. Let me go to Lex and get Lex to throw him this extra $1 million a year that we need to get him to make sure that he's a Buckeye.
Yeah.
So I mean, this because that don't sound all the way correct to me. That okay, we already got this $5.1 million for him, and depending on what type of player he turned out to be, he turned out to be a stud. He turned out to be Jeremiah Smith. Now you got Reebok or Nike, and you might got Beats headphones. You might get Riker Ford. Like, so now it's up there. That $5.1 million contract that you signed for 3 years. Once you throw in the sponsorships and the endorsement, you have $5 million a year.
Yeah. Hey, T1, you hit it on the head. You're gonna see a lot of that where, Jeremiah Smith just signed to Adidas. So you're gonna see a lot of, okay, when it come out 3 years, he got $5 million. But this is what I'm saying. I think probably half of that is gonna be paid by an endorsement. Because you got to save some of that money to spread around the roster. So I know for a fact, like, it got to be at least $2 million being paid off by endorsements. They're not using all that cap space on one position.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. That's interesting. Now you just said Jeremiah Smith signed an Adidas deal.
Man, he went with Adidas. Yeah,
Nike,
Nike blew the bag. But
yeah, they
here's
blew
too,
that.
because I read this article. He's been wearing Adidas ever since a kid. He's not a Nike. He wasn't a Nike kid. He said he's been wearing Adidas since he was like 10 years old. So he's an Adidas kid, and Nike blew it. Of course, you know they had to throw the bag out there. They were supposed to throw a bag at him that he couldn't deny. And Ohio State is we rep Nike, so they really, 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 really dropped the ball on Jeremiah Smith. They dropped it, and they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball.
How does that work? So if he goes out there and plays in Adidas and Ohio State
No,
is
no.
He'll never be able to do that, Bob.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, can he?
During Ohio State games, he still got to wear Nike. But
Yeah, he got
if you check his
Nike.
Instagram or anything, any of his social media, he's gonna be promoting Adidas, and he's gonna have all Adidas that you seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I understand it now, because I was wondering that, like, can he do that? Well, let's talk a little bit more about what we were just talking about this whole money thing and this situation with these players. Are some of these players who are committing to teams for what looks like money, not looking at the overall picture, like player development or stability to get to the next level? Sort of like what we talked about earlier with Ojo, because we know he's going to have to get developed, even though he's a 5-star. Is he not looking at the bigger picture? Okay, I'm going to Texas Tech. Does Texas Tech have the staff, the coaching to get him developed to where he can be a first-round pick in the NFL draft? Do they got that kind of resources on their campus to do that?
Can he be a first round draft pick? Absolutely. But did he go to the best university that will put him in position to for sure be that first round draft pick? Absolutely not. This is a money motivated signing right here. And we're going to get a whole lot of money motivated signings. And when you ask me, when you throw that money in there, it don't make you work as hard. And you're now we talking about what they was talking about with the the NBA players being the college boys being able to go straight to the NBA, and they saying you can't give these kids this much money. Well, look where we at right now. We're right back there. But once again, I love it. I love it because now let's see if we can keep these kids here. Well, we know they're there for 3 years, but let's see if we can keep them there for 4 years now. And let this really, really, really be a real live minor league. And most of them, this is going to be the most money that they ever make. So you're a fool to not stay for 4 years. But yeah, it's all about the money, and it's going to be very interesting to see how motivated some of these student athletes are with this much money in their pocket straight out the gate.
Man, I think it's talented coaches all around the country, bro. I just
Absolutely.
I think it depends on the kid, bro, for real. How hard are you going to work? I think it's good coaching in Texas Tech. I think they have the coaches that can get him the information to make him better. But how bad do you want it? You got to put the work in, bro.
And that's what I was kind of like saying too. Like, every coaching staff has qualified coaches on there. Yes, they can make it. They can make it to that next level. They can make it to that next level. But some coaches are a little better. Some programs are a little better. You know what I mean? So, it's to be seen. But he know one thing for sure. He made the right choice financially.
If he would have came to Ohio State, he for sure would have been a top 2 round pick. It would have been a lock.
I mean, when you
as long as he got on the field, he could be a 5-star and not hit that field too.
Nah, fact.
He had several teams that we know are better development teams than Texas Tech, and I think he would have made at least 3/4 of the kind of money that he's making there at those other places. And I think he would have been better developed at those other places. I think there's been a couple of players out there like that who have chosen the money over, going to a situation where they could get developed by better coaches, in my opinion. And I think sometimes they're not looking at the overall picture and understanding that, listen, I'm going to go to this university. They're going to give me enough money. It might not be 5.1, but it might be really close to 4 over your 3-year span. I'm quite sure you can get to $1 million a year from most of those schools at some point. And then they're going to have those other routes where you can get endorsements as well. I think sometimes these guys go after that money, not looking at the bigger picture of development. I'm going to be watching Felix Ojo really close to see if he sticks and stays at Texas Tech or if he decides to go somewhere else after maybe year 1 or 2, if the development isn't there. Because I really think that whenever you decide you're going to leave and not go to an Ohio State or Texas or even a Texas A&M for that matter, and you choose Texas Tech, you might not be looking at the bigger picture now. Texas Tech is in a conference that they're not going to get the eyeballs like they're going to get in the Big Ten and the SEC. So sometimes I think these guys need to weigh all of those options out before they just go ahead and chase that money, because the money's going to be there if you're a good enough player. You're going to make the money. But I think development and your upside, you need to be thinking more about getting that developed than this money at this point, because the money's going to come.
But if you can play, the NFL going to find you regardless.
It don't matter where you at. You be at North Dakota.
It don't matter where you at. Yep.
Hey, so is it safe to say that the going rate for a lineman is north of $1 million?
Yes.
Yeah. If they got that recruiting
linemen,
rate,
if they are a 5-star lineman, they get to go get a Billy off the rip at the age of 18, 19.
Hey, even a 4.5-star offensive lineman is going for that. That's the rate, bro.
Yeah, that's the rate. Especially if you're a left tackle. I mean, that's the rate for sure.
Rob, we was born too early, man. Because now what it is, because now what it is can they keep up that work ethic that they had in high school? Because that's when you really you're putting in the work to be able to get that money. You know what I mean? You got to be able to put that work in to get that guaranteed money. So can they continue to put that work in and know and understand, if I keep developing, if I keep getting better, I get to go to the NFL, live out my dream, and get an even bigger bag. But the NFL don't pay like the NBA in baseball. They don't pay like that. So I think for most of these young men, it will be smart financially if they're really thinking your best job is to stay for 4 years and suck every single dime, every single penny that you can get up out of these universities. Don't leave with no money on the table, because that NFL career isn't promised.
Yeah. Do y'all think that some of these coaches are going to feel like, man, we giving this guy $5.1 million, we got to put him on the field? Or they're going to be like, if this dude ain't ready, he ain't getting out there. I don't care how much money.
Ojo going straight to the field. That quarterback up north going straight to the field. Yeah, these cats that's getting the big bag, they going straight to the field. We paying them, and we're paying them to see them on the field, and the fans want to see them on the field.
I think it go program to program, man. Like, Ohio State, we might pay a receiver, but that don't mean you gonna see the field. That's the best room in the country, So, if
you ain't right for that, Zay. You ain't right for that, Zay.
I'm just saying, bro. It's about development, man. It's about development. It's always
it's hard. I'm about to say
you know it's hard to get on that wide receiving field. You got to be beyond special to get straight out there and get on that field as a wide receiver at the Ohio State University.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It go program to program. Like, Texas, they about to get I think they're going to get the Terratine dude. They going to pay him a hefty bag. I don't think he going to see the field his freshman year. He going to have to wait his turn. They going to develop him too, though. You know what I'm saying? But once he hit the field, he going to be ready.
Well, he ended up committing.
I like
yesterday. So, but he gonna have to wait behind. I mean, he gonna get there next year. Hopefully, he better hope that Trevor Goolsby go ahead and go to the NFL. And that way, he only got to sit behind Nick Brooks for 2 years. Otherwise, he ain't gonna see the field because he wants to play left tackle. So it's gonna be interesting. But he did go ahead and commit to Texas yesterday.
Hey, listen. I don't mind sitting the bench and waiting my turn when I'm getting paid $1 million.
Man, listen here. But how do you keep your drive? Because you're getting paid that milli, you're sitting on the bench, you're being able to do every and anything that you want to do financially. That's what I'm saying. This is going to be very interesting to see if these young kids' minds are developed enough. Because once you throw that money in there, it got it. Now we're talking about the actual brain. Is that brain going to be able to function correctly, bringing all of this money in, bringing all of these young ladies in, bringing, all of your family members bothering you about money because you got it. We was cool before you went to Texas Tech. So now you got all this money. Now you this and now you that. How is that going to mess with their mental as well? You understand what I'm saying? It's like this thing is going to have to be studied, and we're going to have to take a really, really, really good look at this. I can see it like maybe 4 or 5 more years down the line. And are we going to start seeing athletes that's making all this money get in trouble? What's going to happen when they get in trouble when something happens? Is that money going to drop? Is that money going to be voided? It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, and as a coach, though, T1, this is where I'll talk about the most 3 important things that your coaching staff should have. You got to be able to identify the type of kids you want, and if they got talent, the talent level, you got to be an outstanding recruiter. And then that third thing is you got to be able to motivate kids. So if you got them 3 things, bro, these kids will be all right, bro. They'll be hungry. They'll stay hungry. You know what I mean? Hey, Jeremiah Smith down to 1% body fat, and he got the world. He already got the world in his hands. He's still working.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever's recruiting those kids, they're doing, especially if you at Texas, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, places like that, Michigan. You got coaches who are recruiting these kids or finding out do these players still got the hunger, even though they're about to get this money. Do they still have a desire to make it to the next level, which means they're going to work hard to make it to the NFL? They're doing all of their due diligence to make sure that stuff is going to happen. Otherwise, they ain't going to recruit that player. Trust me, they know how to find guys who want it, and they know how to go ahead and move on away from guys who they see this dude don't want it. They know how to do it. That's why you see the players that Ohio State has gotten throughout this whole NIL time. They're getting hungry players, the guys that want to make it to the next level. They don't mind sitting behind a wide receiver room for 2 years because they know when it's their turn, they're going to light it up. You know what I'm saying? So they don't mind that. And I think that the really, really good coaches, they understand that. And they don't lead with the bag. They lead with player development and the fact that they're going to get you to the NFL, which is your goal anyway.
Hey, is my audio chopped up?
Nah, you good.
Nah, you good.
Okay, it's just on this end. Zay, you just cheated again, man. You keep cheating, but you're coming back with some very, very valid and great answers. Like you brought up Jeremiah Smith and said he could get in the bag and he's still working. And that's just another aspect of this game. Jeremiah Smith is a loyal kid that comes from a household with the mother and the father in it. And, you know, they stand on morals and things like that, which helps a kid like Jeremiah stay focused because he has that kind of support system back at home, because he has, you know, a mother and father together working to make sure that he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. And you know, I just feel like it ain't gonna be like that for everybody. Don't be Jeremiah. We already know he's not just a freak out there on the field, but he's what you want as a student athlete and as a son.
Yeah, facts. Before we get into these week 6 college football games, we got one more question. Who's someone on your team roster who might fly under the radar and have a good season this season? Who's somebody out there on the Buckeyes who y'all think is flying under the radar right now, but man, you done seen something out of him that when he gets his opportunity this season, he's gonna ball out?
I don't understand how Igbinosa isn't on a lot more, like maybe even All-American, preseason All-American teams. I think that he's going to be that lockdown corner for Ohio State this year. That is like really, really. We already know about Caleb Downs, and that's really going to help that defensive line out when them quarterbacks and them safeties are allowed to be right next to that receiver. That quarterback's not able to get that ball out of his hands right away. And then there you have that pressure. So mine is IG for Ohio State, the cornerback at Ohio State, which I was surprised that it came back. I was almost for sure that he was going to go ahead and get out because he was our best corner last year.
Yeah, I'm gonna go one offense, one defense, man. I don't think that Austin Saraville on the offensive line is being talked about enough. I think he's gonna have a monster year. I think he's gonna play himself into a top 2 round pick, and we're looking probably at him playing right tackle to start the year. He can move all the way through the line though. Like last year, he played tackle and guard, so. If we do bar injuries this year, that's a guy that, you know, he could do something like what Donovan Jackson did last year and play kind of a hybrid role and play both. Defensively, man, I don't know how we're going to keep Fahim Delane off the field, man. I'm hearing that this dude is a thumper at that safety position. Like, when you talk about, like, a true, like, strong safety, that's what he is, bro. He just a thump. They said he be laying wood paws to people in practice. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I don't know how they're going to keep a kid like that off the field, true freshman or not, man. I think Fahim Delane is going to be hard to keep off that field. I like Jalen McClain and Hartford, but, man, when they talk about how talented this kid is, bro, it's just like sometimes you just got to let them horses go, bro.
And we need that. We need it. Hey, we need another. That's what I'm saying about this Ohio State defense. Actually, has the potential to be really, really, really good, and especially if we can get Styles to be that player that he was supposed to be coming out of college. Like he's not being talked about any. So he could also potentially be one of those players that come in. Into this season and shock the world with his play because we're looking for it. He has that athleticism to be that big linebacker that you have dominating in college football.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I want to mention something after I'll tell you who my two are. One on offense, one on defense. That I think that Isaiah he mentioned that is very critical. I think at most of these universities. But before that, I'm gonna tell you my two. Both of them coming off of injuries. Christian Clark at running back He has a chance to really, really make some noise while Cedric Baxter is still on the shelf. So that way, Texas does not have to rush Cedric Baxter back to play. If Christian Clark, who's coming off of an Achilles injury, if he can come back and be at form like we seen him be in the spring on into the fall, if he can do that, we can see him make some noise. And also Colton Vasek, defensive end, who's been injured a lot at Texas in his first 2 years. If he can stay healthy, this guy can be a monster out there. So hopefully those two guys, if they can stay healthy this season, could really make some noise for Texas, Colton Vasek and Christian Clark. But I think Isaiah mentioned something really, really interesting.
Hey, before you get into that,
yeah, go ahead.
I heard Sark talking very highly of this Christian Clark kid the other day on YouTube. He was talking very high. He said he is the reason why they don't have to rush CJ Baxter back. And that's high praise, bro, because Baxter is a monster.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I heard him say that as well. But you have mentioned how Ohio State understands on their offensive line, you got to cross-train guys. You can't pigeonhole a dude, okay, you're going to be the right guard. No, you can't pigeonhole a guy because you never know who's going to go down, and you always want to have your best five, regardless of who's injured, on the field. So I think it's very critical for teams like Ohio State, all the really, really top schools. You got to cross-train your players all over the place. You can't just pigeonhole guys anymore, a quarterback playing on one side. Guys got to be able to be versatile so that you can get the most out of them and you can get the most talent on the field at every given play. And I think you made a very valid point talking about how y'all's offensive line is cross-training guys and not pigeonholing them to just one single offensive line position. I think that's really
Yeah, man, I wish Ryan Day didn't throw them nuggets out there to the world that we was doing this either. Because you helping coaching staffs across the country, bro. You got to keep certain stuff tied to the vest, bro.
Well, if you really think about it, all these coaches, they talk to each other, man. You can't have a Ryan Day out there and you, Steve Sarkisian, and you don't reach out to him either indirectly or directly to find out, hey, how you doing it? And they don't mind giving out the information. So that's probably why he's so open with it. Because they don't
certain things you just want to have a competitive edge with, man. You know what I mean? Just certain things, bro. You can share information, just certain key little nuggets and diamonds, man. Keep them to yourself, bro.
I feel you.
Hey, we doing that with our defensive backs as well, though. Like, we got corners training at safety and safeties training in slots and all that. So we doing it all the way through the roster. It's not just on the offensive line.
Yeah, it's about
and that's just the depth. Yeah, that's the depth of the program. Like people don't know and understand. Last year, we were out there with 4 guards on our offensive line, guards that just had to move over to tackle, and that was the biggest thing with our run last year. That depth at the offensive line that we thought was a problem when all them linemen went out, but we were out there with 4 guards in the center.
Yeah, I mean,
because of that depth.
What y'all was able to do and what Notre Dame was able to do with the injuries that y'all sustained on y'all's offensive line was phenomenal, man. I mean, when Texas had injuries on their offensive line, they could only go to one dude. They went to Trevor Goolsby because it was mainly our tackles. And then you could slide Cole Hudson at center if Jake Majors went down or if one of the guards went down. But that was basically it. Y'all had to makeshift y'all's whole entire line, and y'all was able to win the national championship doing that. And you really didn't see. There were some instances where you saw that they weren't quite there, but it didn't keep them from winning the national championship.
Well, we started doing a lot of chip blocking too. So credit to the coaching staff. You know what I mean? They didn't like when Donovan Jackson was outmatched for real. They didn't just leave him in the island. You know what I'm saying? They did a lot of chipping, a lot of tight ends on his side. So they helped him out a tremendous amount. But he held his own though, for real. He really did against some of the elite pass rushers in the country.
Cool. Well, let's talk about these week 6 slate of games. Y'all tell me who y'all think gonna win it and how the outcome might come about. First up, we got West Virginia traveling to Provo to play BYU. Well, we know it's tough to play. Can West Virginia, with a new coaching staff, are they able to make some noise and possibly upset BYU in Provo?
So I kind of did my homework on these BYU backups, man. Ratzliff, he's out of there. They like what they got behind him. So I'm gonna assume that BYU is still gonna be one of the top teams in the Big 12, and I think they're gonna get that dub. I mean, if you hear comfort from your coaching staff with the guys that's backing up your starter, then that's what I'm just gonna roll with. I feel like they think they got what they need in that room, so I expect BYU to go as regular programming.
I'm gonna go with you on that one too, because until we see West Virginia get back to West Virginia football, they're in the middle of the pack now. They've fallen down that ladder, so I'm gonna look for BYU to go in there with that. Who won't be a backup quarterback? He's gonna be the starting quarterback, and if he plays well, he's gonna be the starting quarterback for the rest of the year. And that Reese, whatever his name is, he may be in trouble, or BYU may be in trouble. But I'm gonna go with BYU. I'm gonna go with the home team on this one.
Yeah, well, I just came out of that altitude, man, being out there in Colorado, and it is no joke, bro. You got to be prepared for that stuff. West Virginia, I know you're in some mountains, but you ain't in that altitude. I think BYU would be too much for West Virginia, so I'm taking BYU to win that game. We got Vanderbilt at Alabama. Can Vanderbilt pull another upset of Alabama, or is Alabama going to be ready for them and going to thump their skull in?
Thump to the thump. They gonna thump Vandy. They gonna thump Vandy.
Man, I know I've been giving Bama a lot of flack this offseason, man. But the more I'm studying this Bama team, bro, I like Ty Simpson, bro. Like, I wasn't really all the way hit to him, but I was a little bit. But the kid can really move for real. So it's not like they're losing the whole aspect of Milroe's leg this year. They just gaining a better passer. Yeah, I think Bama gonna thump them though. Vandy not coming into Bama and doing nothing with them in this game.
Yeah, that crowd is going to be all over Vanderbilt's head because of what they did last year, upsetting Alabama and Nashville. I I agree with you about this. Alabama. They might bolster the best defense in the SEC this year, man. They got some guys over there on that defensive side of the ball that can really make some noise for them. And I think they're going to give Diego Pavia a lot of trouble. And I got Alabama thumping them as well. Wisconsin travels to the Big House to play the Michigan Wolverines. Could it be a possible upset in the making in this game right here? Or is Wisconsin just don't have anything?
Nah, Michigan
They don't have it. Yeah, they're with Michigan to win this one off of defense. If the offense isn't clicking, I can see Michigan winning this game just off of their defense and their running game.
Wisconsin got the toughest schedule in the Big Ten this year, man. They gonna get somebody though. When somebody that's coming to Camp Randall, it's hard to play in Camp Randall. They gonna get somebody there. They probably only be like a 3 or 4 win team this year though.
Yeah, I think Michigan will thump them in the Big House as well because, like you said, T.Y., their defense is going to win that game for them and make it easier for the offense, even if they struggle. And I agree with you too, Zay. I think they're going to play somebody really, really tough in Camp Randall. I don't know if they're going to beat any of those powerhouses, but they're going to play somebody really tough like they did last year against Oregon.
I don't know about them thumping Wisconsin though, bro. I don't know about them thumping. I don't know about them thumping anybody outside the MAC or somebody. I don't know about them thumping. They gonna have to show that they have some type of high power passing game to get in the area of thumping somebody.
I feel you on that too. I feel you on that too. Michigan State.
And we all know spring ball. That's we can go ahead. We can go ahead. I was getting on some. I ain't gonna call it personal, but just my opinion about something. But that's not important right now. Go ahead, Rob.
Hey man, listen. Whenever Michigan is mentioned, I expect for Ohio State to go fully all in on them every time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with it then. So we know spring ball is really not much of nothing. We've had quarterbacks that came in, Justin Fields, CJ. They came in the spring game and they didn't light it up with their accuracy and all of that. And we saw how it turned out for the season. But that freshman quarterback, he did not throw good balls in that spring game. He didn't have much touch. He had a whole lot of power on him. He didn't have much touch, and the only reason why he got over 100 yards passing because they ran they got an 80-yard trick play bomb. So yeah, like I say, they're gonna have a pass. They're gonna have to show that they have a passing game to be able to thump anybody.
Hey, why do you go in your bag and show one of your trick plays in a spring game?
Man, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Because they don't plan on running.
They gonna need.
That was crazy. That was a desperate. That was one of their many desperate moves up there. They're desperate.
What's your thoughts on Michigan?
And then Parlay Poe never in here to get with us when we get to talking about it. So he can come back with some type of fire for his squad.
Parlay Poe, if you're out there in the chat, man, they're calling you out. What's your thoughts on Michigan State and Nebraska? Can this game really decide where either one of these teams are going to finish in this Big 12 race? Big 10 race.
I'd like to see if Nebraska's quarterback can build off of his freshman season. He had a pretty good season. And Nebraska, they're looking like they're going upwards. So I'm gonna take Nebraska with this one. Michigan State still is in a lower middle of the pack until they can show different.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Michigan State in the upset in this game. I think Michigan State can get on one right here.
I'm gonna go with Nebraska because I think the quarterback is going to make some large strides in year two in the same system with the same head coach. I think they're going to be better than they were. And they always.
I'm gonna come back again, y'all. My audio messing up. Sorry, y'all. I'm gonna come back again. My audio is bad right now.
Okay. And I think that they're going to be really good. Not really good. They're going to be good defensively. Enough to be able to hold Michigan State down in that game. So I'm going to go with Nebraska to win this one. And I think this game is a game that Nebraska is going to have to really show that they can actually compete in the Big Ten. Otherwise, they're going to be a middle to the bottom of the pack team in the Big Ten from here on out if they can't do it with Dylan Raiola. What's your thoughts on Clemson at North Carolina? Can Bill Belichick have his team ready to pull an upset over Clemson at this point in the season, week 6? Will he be able to make some noise and get his team going in the right direction?
He can make some noise, just not in this game. Clemson about to dog walk them, bro. They might be the only team who's got a defensive line that can compare to your Texas Longhorns this year, man. That defensive line gonna be a problem for everybody.
Yeah, they're gonna be a problem for sure. Yeah, I think North Carolina doesn't have a chance in this one. I think Clemson is gonna thump them and show them why they're gonna be the best team in the ACC this year. And hopefully Bill Belichick can start to make some things happen after this game so that he can keep some recruits and possibly get some guys to look forward to coming there from the transfer portal. I thought I had a transfer portal question in there. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I can come back to it later on. Then we got Texas at Florida. Man,
Hold on, what was that last one I missed, Rob? Did I miss that last one?
Clemson at North Carolina.
Clemson. Hey, Zay. Hey, Zay.
Yeah.
Quick question, and to rewind back a few questions. What do you think about that defensive end that we got from North Carolina? Could he come in and be a surprise player for us?
You talking about
Bowers? Yeah.
Nah, he a player, bro. He's a hell of a player.
I thought I saw that as well.
Yes. So our defensive ends, we good. You know, we don't really got.
But we got to be deep.
Huh?
You know that defensive end. We got to be deep. We need to be 4 to 5 deep on that defensive end.
Yeah, you know, I think we're gonna have to deploy some rushman packages like how we used to do back in the like 2015, 2016 era of our defensive line, where we put 4 defensive ends down on maybe third down just to save a little energy for K. McDonald and Edric Houston.
Yeah, and you know, Houston was a defensive end. They just put him down. They just moved him down to the inside.
Yeah, they put more weight on him too. So
yeah. I'm looking for that to be.
Why you looking like that, No?
That could be a surprise player as well.
Why you looking like that, No?
Because at Texas they call that the NASCAR package, bro.
Bro, we did that way before anybody did that.
That ain't what I'm saying. What I'm saying is at Texas they call it the NASCAR package.
Man, y'all stole that from us though. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We was doing this with the Bosa brothers when we had the Bosa brothers.
Don't tell him nothing.
All I'm saying is at Texas they call that the NASCAR package. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I like the Rushman better, man.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, everybody got to have a name to whatever it is they're doing. But I think that's a really good idea. On 3rd and longs, when you can go to that and you still got enough girth in the middle to just stop it if they're going to draw or something, I mean, you got to do it, man. That's just the nature of being good coaches, man. You understand that you got to do stuff like that. And I think that's going to be a good move for y'all when y'all go have a 3rd and long or something like that. The scariest game on the schedule for me is Texas at Florida.
You lied. The scariest game is the first game, but go ahead.
No, but
Zay, look at me. Yeah, Rob. Yeah, we gator chopping, baby. We gator chopping. The second annual Texas schedule. The second annual Texas schedule, and now we're potentially talking about Texas being knocked out of 12-team playoff.
Yeah, I think this got to be a night game too, man. I hope it is. I got Florida in this game, bro. This is definitely, I feel like y'all second loss on the year, another loss, and it's going to start really getting sticky.
Oh, and it's another tough road game too. This gonna be a good one. This gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a lot of pizza, popcorn, and wings for this one, man.
Hey, but Arch should be whatever Arch is by this point in the season. So, I mean, the jury is out. I still got time to change my answer after seeing him, but I'm not a believer in Arch yet.
Well, the thing that I get an advantage to Texas is the fact that we really don't know what DJ Lagway's shoulder is going to be like. Right now, he's still nursing that injured shoulder, and he ain't 100%. So if he starts the season not being 100% and then take some lumps, He may not play against Texas like he didn't play against Texas last
I
year.
bet you are wishing for that.
I'm not wishing for it. I want the young man to be out there. I want
Yeah,
the
he
young
is.
man to be
Yeah,
out
he is,
there.
Zay.
I want him to be out there on the field. 'Cause
No, you don't. That was the first thing out your mouth. You don't want him out there. And if he is out there, you want his shoulder to be almost hanging off. You want his shoulder hanging off the bone like some ribs.
Hey, listen, man. Before I said anything, I said this is the scariest game on the schedule for me. But I think that we got a
And we knew that was a lie.
Well, only reason
And
why
we knew that was a lie. How you ain't scared of that first game? You got the. How you ain't scared going in
Hey, y'all
against
still
the
got
defending national champions on their home field?
it's not
hey,
a
y'all still got
conference game.
OU in Georgia, right?
Yeah, we still got OU in Georgia.
Ooh, man.
Woo.
Yeah. I mean,
But I'm even rock with Rob on this one. I ain't gonna say, I ain't mean to say we. I just said we as in WTP Sports News. But Texas ain't worried about Oklahoma. They ain't worried about Oklahoma. It's a rivalry game and all that, but they ain't that much worried about them.
Okay. Hey, I'm switching my pick. I'm going Texas. I think they need to win this game.
they need to win the game.
They not getting it. Even if Florida start off a little rocky, and let's say Florida has one L by this game, they ain't getting that. They gonna get Texas at home.
Well, I think OU gonna beat Texas this year. I can't have them losing to OU and Florida.
Man, we ain't losing to neither one of them. I got Texas winning this game. Even though it's going to be a really tight game in the first half, I think Texas pulls away going into the fourth quarter and wins it by at least 10.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm not scared of Ohio State is because it's not a conference game.
Nah, facts.
You know what I'm saying? If it was a conference game, then I would be like, oh, traveling to the shoe.
Let me ask you this too, both of y'all this real quick. Do we think if a team loses 3 conference games and just lose 1 non-conference, are we gonna get a 4-loss team out of the SEC or the Big Ten into the playoffs?
Definitely possible. I could definitely see 4. I don't know. That's tough. That's an 8-4.
If you got 3 L's in your conference, you can possibly finish as a 4th place team. That's why I'm asking.
I could take 3. I could take 3. Nah, I ain't going. I'm sorry. I ain't going with that.
I'm gonna say
that's
this.
too many.
I'm gonna say this, and don't think I'm being biased because I'm not being biased. I think because of some of the SEC schedules, they could possibly have a 4-loss team. Like, just take South Carolina, for instance. They got a really tough matchup against Clemson. If that's a loss for them and then they lose 3 conference games, I think they could be a team that can be looked at. The only reason why I wouldn't say somebody in the Big Ten is because they're scheduling. Whenever you got those 9 games and you got 18 teams in your conference, you're going to have too many cupcakes on your team, on your schedule, I mean. So I don't think that will work.
But you wouldn't be saying that if Wisconsin did it. If Wisconsin had a good football team and they went 8-4,
that would be one that could do it. Because Wisconsin does have a difficult enough schedule that if they win 8-4, they would be looked at just like that South Carolina team. I do agree with you on that.
And I'll take it back. It is possible because I could see a Big Ten or SEC team if they did have 4 losses, and now you're talking about comparing that team to a 3-loss Big 12 or ACC team. I definitely could see a 4-loss team getting in. If you have those 4 losses coming against, 4 teams that's potentially in that 12-team playoff race.
Hey, I wanted to ask because I don't see no way they would leave Texas out if they lost to Ohio State, Georgia, OU, and somebody else. I don't see them being left out.
Florida.
They better leave us out if we lose to OU.
Bro, OU gonna be nice, bro. Like, why you keep saying that?
They're gonna be good, man, but they're not gonna
Bro,
be.
they're gonna be nice, bro. They're gonna finish in the top 6, top 5 of the SEC this year. Mark my words.
I can see that. I can see that.
Well, that's not saying a lot.
No, that's saying a lot, bro. That's saying it's hard. Hey, T1, it's hard finishing in the top 5, top 6, man. You know that. It's hard.
I mean, but you have to put them. You have to put them like you go with the Alabama, the Georgia, the Texas, and then who you. I get what you're saying because now you are right. I mean, you're talking about the Oklahoma, the LSU, the possible Florida, and then a surprise team about the SEC. You know, like a Missouri, the Texas A&M.
Man, you got Ole Miss, LSU, Florida, Texas A&M,
yeah.
OU. You know what I mean, bro? It's hard finishing in the top 5, bro, in any conference, bro. It's not easy, bro.
Yeah.
So you saying you're looking for Ole Miss to stay in the area that they were last year? I'm saying Ole Miss keeping that up, and because what did Ole Miss lose last year? What, 2 games, 3 games?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Ole Miss is not playing Mississippi State or Northwestern. That's not that type of team. That's not that type of game. That's not an easy game to play. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So anything can happen. Anything can happen. I just think a lot of the middle teams in the SEC is going to beat up on each other again.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad we all picked Texas on that one, right?
Yeah. You know, T1 didn't. He swamped.
Not me. Swamp.
Gator
chopping. Gator chopping, baby.
So if Texas is undefeated at that point, they're the number 1 team in the country.
No. T1 got you with 2 losses at that point.
No, he said if. He said if.
If they undefeated, they're the number 1 team in the country.
Absolutely.
Well, I really think y'all should come into the season ranked number 1. Honestly, that's just what I would do.
Yeah,
why? Because of Manning?
It's the most talented roster in the college football world this year.
That might be true.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on Kansas State at Baylor? I think that Kansas State gonna have some trouble going into Waco and getting a win, man. What's your thoughts on this?
Y'all know I'm high on Baylor.
I'm taking the road team.
So Colorado was the second team that I rooted for last year. This year it will be Baylor. I like this football team. I'm going to have fun keeping my eye on them. I think Baylor can win this game. And if they can win this game, you could look at a top 3 finish for Baylor in the Big 12 possibly.
Yeah, I'm taking Baylor to win this game as well at home in Waco. I think Dave Aranda will have that defense ready, and they got a nice running game. They got a decent enough quarterback. I think that they can beat Kansas State. Now it's going to be a banger though. It's going to be a banger because gritty Kansas State is not just going to come in there as if they're going to let Baylor just do whatever they want to do. I think that's going to be a really good game. That might determine who's going to finish up around that top 3 in the Big 12. We got Boise State at Notre Dame. What's your thoughts on this one? Can Boise State go into South Bend and possibly get an upset over Freeman's boys?
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to post game, man. He don't like this game. I think they squeak out a win, though. I don't think they lose this game. I think Boise State will be playing for that non-Power 4 bid this year as well. Still, I like them, Tulane and UNLV in that race. We'll see how it play out. This will go a long way if they could get this win, but I think Notre Dame pulled us out probably by like 10 points.
I'm not looking for Boise State to duplicate what they did last year. I'm not. I'm not. I'm looking for Boise State to now. They'll be competitive with everybody else, and they may be able to, get everybody else, but they're not getting Notre Dame. And I don't even think it's going to be a game.
Yeah, I think the physicality of Notre Dame might be a little bit too much for Boise State. And I think that Notre Dame will probably win this game pretty easily. Pretty easily. The last game we got on the slate before we go ahead and wrap this up, we got Miami at Florida State. What's your thoughts on this game?
Big Mouth Castellino, he better show up and prove. He better show up and prove, man. Listen, I'm gonna be watching Florida State real close just because I really want them to be terrible so I can talk shit to Moss. But man, listen, I got Miami in this game, bro. Florida State got a show, man. I ain't never seen no team finish at the bottom of their conference and then turn around and finish in the top 4. So I got Miami, bro.
Yeah, me too. I got Miami. I'm not Florida State. They're gonna have to. They. This. Would you say this is week 6? Yeah, This is definitely one of those games that we're gonna have to see their first 5 games. But just going right now off of paper, I'm going with Miami. Like they said, I don't see them going from the bottom and racing up to the top.
Yeah, if I had to look at what both teams are looking like in the direction and the path that their program is going right now, I would have to pick Miami to win this game over Florida State. But Florida State is at home. Hopefully in the first 5 games they're able to do some things. They got a good matchup against Alabama, I think week 1 or week 2. And if they can play well in that game, they might be able to do something at home. But if I had to pick right here today like I do, I'm picking Miami. I have one last question that I found in here. Now, we can answer it, then we can go ahead and wrap it up. The NCAA committee approved a one-time transfer window from starting tomorrow, July 7th starting Monday, July 7th through August the 5th. What's your thoughts? And will we see much movement at the Power 4 level?
Hey, why did they do that? No.
I have no
Hey,
idea.
did I think I heard something yesterday, and I believe that it's not. This window isn't open for everybody. You have to be a designated player, and those players are after the 105, I do believe. So that that number 106 through 125, they have been designated as players who are not making the roster.
Okay,
so those are the only players that can transfer. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: when you say designated player, is it who the coaches designate?
Yeah. They get what was it, like SDA or something? Student. They actually are calling them. They're actually calling them is student. It got student, a designated student athlete. I think it's something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Those are the players who are, they like you 106 through 125. So you're free to go and try to find your place because you're like number 7 on the depth chart.
Yeah, so the roster went from 125 to 105, but the scholarships went from 85 to the 105. So the rest of them 20 left. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's good business. So this ain't really going to affect nobody's team for real.
No, this isn't. Like I said, it's only for the players 106 through 125. They're the only ones that can transfer. You can't. You're not getting. Everybody from Michigan can't leave because they done heard through the grapevine that something is coming.
Thanks for giving us that clear up, because I wasn't sure who this window was for, but now that you mentioned it, I do remember hearing that they had to put something in place for those players from 106 to 125 because they weren't quite in that $20.8 million agreement or whatever.
You're gonna see a lot of guys going Division II right here.
Yeah. We can't hear you, T.Y. We can't hear you. Yeah.
You know, they may be going from a power forward to a non-power forward school.
Yeah. That makes sense. All right, y'all. Well, I'm glad we could all get on this morning, man. We have been kind of missing hit and miss here lately this past week, but we back on track now. We'll see y'all again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We'll be here for the next couple of weeks on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Doing what's happening in college football, and we'll switch over to 8 a.m. once the college football season starts because we don't want to be going up against college game day. So continue to watch us, continue to support us. Hopefully we can get this thing figured out with YouTube so that we can go ahead and get to the next level of this thing. So I appreciate y'all joining us this morning, and I'll see y'all soon.
Hey, hold on. You forgot to ask if we got any more questions. And I do, and it's coming off of, it's kind of coming off of this transfer portal window opening up, and this is what I want to ask you all. Do you think that these players from Michigan who's committed to Michigan, who didn't decide to leave Michigan, do you think that these players are thinking, hey, we're going to get this money and we don't care what comes out of this? Or do you think that for some type of reason, the Michigan coaches and staffers are telling these kids, hey, nothing's going to happen. There's not going to be any bowl bans, or, you know, they may take a loss or something away from us, some L's away, but you don't have anything to worry about. Come on here. Everything is going to be fine. Because for me, it's surprising that they're still getting these players. They're still they retain players, and nobody knows what's really going to happen, and they're working as if nothing is going to happen. It's just like business as usual up in Michigan, and they have a whole new scandal that's come out within the last month, and it's just surprising to me how players are still signing and nobody jumped ship as if nothing's going to happen. And if something does happen, are they going to open up an emergency window for these cats, or are they going to say, "Hey, y'all knew what was on the line. Y'all got y'all's money. Y'all just here and strictly playing for money"?
Well, go ahead, Zay.
Michigan, I feel like they recruiting lollipops anyway. I don't care. You know what I mean? They some suckers.
I mean, but they've gotten several players that had both Ohio State and Michigan in their final school, and quite a few of them have chosen Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah, they got 2 or 3, but once you commit to Michigan, you are officially a lollipop.
I'm with that. You making bad decisions. All the cats that's committing to this school, not knowing what the future holds, and from the outside, it looks bad. Like I was thinking about kicking off my Somebody Else podcast because could you imagine if this was Coach Prime and he has all of these allegations of he only won because he was stealing signs, and then he let this coach continue to coach after he found out that this coach was getting up in people's phones and taking their little nasty pictures up out of it. Could you imagine if this was Coach Prime or an African-American head football coach? Could you imagine how quick and how swift this punishment would have been? This is crazy. Could you imagine this being Coach Prime with all these allegations? Could you imagine him still being on the job?
I don't think that they're since it was a coaching thing, it wasn't a player thing. I think they're going to punish coaches.
Hold up, what are you talking about right now? What you mean it was a? You said since it was a coach's thing.
Since it was,
you talking about science stealing?
Yeah, that was the coaches were involved in that. The players didn't say, "Hey,
which allowed them to win."
Go steal these plays for us so we can win these games. The players ain't had nothing to do with that. This is the coaches. So
yeah, they absolutely did, and they said thank you, and they also let the world know, hey, we know what they're running right here on this play.
No,
it's a pass.
No, what I'm saying is the players didn't send Connor Stallions. The coaches did. The players just played whatever was in front of them. They're not going to punish the players. So anything they can do to get around punishing these players, they're going to do that. I think they're going to punish
the players benefited tremendously off of this. What are you talking about? This is a university where you can see that the coaching staff had absolutely no control over it. And regardless of if he wants to say, hey, I didn't know anything about this. You did. You did. And if you didn't, you should have known as the leader of that program. You don't not know what's going on. Oh, I didn't know this coach was over here getting into student athletes' cell phones. And then you let him go out and coach a college football playoff game. Why? Because you're trying to win a national championship. And you need that coach, and you don't care that coach got all of these little naked pictures of these young men and women. That's complete. That means that your program is completely out of control. That's not just on the coaches. That's not just on the coaches, because who benefited? The players.
No. What I'm saying to you is, and I hear what you're saying. I totally hear what you're saying. But the players didn't go out and receive illegal benefits. The players didn't
It don't work like that, right?
But listen, what I'm telling you is the nature of the NCAA and the state it is in now, they are not going to punish those players. Now they already gave Harbaugh a couple of suspensions, right? Michigan is out in front of it, giving a suspension to Sharon Moore.
And they already saw how that was BS.
Hey, see, you know what the problem is?
They're not going to do much to these players. They're going to do everything they can to keep from harming these players. They don't mind suspending some coaches, fining Michigan, all of that kind of stuff, but they're not going to do anything that's going to hurt these players. I'm telling you.
Hey, you know what the problem with that is?
What's that?
It's that these mugs already won a national championship. How are you harming the players?
Yeah,
if you ban them out of a ball game.
Yeah.
Hey, listen to me. What I'm telling you, I'm going to listen to this now. Listen, this thing is over 2 years old. Over 2 years old. The players that are there now, some of them had nothing to do with what happened 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. They are not going to punish.
Hey, and these players
who was there, bro. I'm telling you.
Hey, these players also signed up knowing that this was down the hatch. So why do they get saved when they knew something was going to possibly happen?
Right.
Yeah,
no, like you said, it's 2 years old. Yeah, bro. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Listen to me, bro. Whether they signed with them or not, that's irrelevant. They wanted to play for the University of Michigan.
What's irrelevant? What has happened?
Those players who
one of the biggest scandals in all of college football history.
Listen,
And here's Rob, I got a question for you, Rob. I got a question for you. Why in the world, listen, why in the world, at whatever the punishment is going to be, you know, we have no control over that, but whatever the punishment is going to be, why in the world are we still talking about it? Why haven't they taken action with what they're alleged to have done? Like, this is the part that makes no sense. And it's the part that also says that something gonna pop. I don't know why they're scared. It seems like they're scared. It seems like they're scared to do whatever they feel like they have to do because you have to punish them. You cannot let they're going to get something. Would you agree with that?
They're going to get something. They are, but they've already been given something already.
No, they ain't been given nothing. They haven't been given nothing. No scholarships. No scholarships were taken away. No.
Listen to me. When it comes to the players, though, they're not going to do that. The reason why they haven't done much already is because they don't want to see Michigan not be a prominent program. Even if it happened at Ohio,
they haven't been a prominent program before the sign stealing thing. They've been in the gutter.
They're still one hell of a brand, though.
It's the only thing. No, they're not. No, they're not. They have been completely irrelevant.
Man,
Really, for the only success that they have in the past 25 years is they're under investigation for sign stealing. Where you going? Yeah, it's
We keep taking these bombs.
So you mean to tell me that the Big Ten is not better when Michigan is good?
Michigan hasn't. This is what you're understanding. They haven't been good, but they haven't been good.
That's not what we're talking about, bro. That's
what
not.
I'm telling you is the NCAA does not want Michigan not to be good, bro, because it's bad for business.
So why? So why do they have Michigan staffers on are Michigan staffers a part of the NCAA? Like who says that they don't want Michigan to be back?
They have done just about all that they're going to do to Michigan by suspending these coaches, bro. They've done about all they're going to do.
And why would you feel like? Why would you feel like that was?
I'm okay if they don't do nothing to them.
What I just do with the process? Hey, I just wanted to be fair.
You said you don't care if they do nothing to them.
I don't care if they don't do anything to them at this point.
Hey, I just wanted to be fair. We got banned. We got banned for less.
That's it.
That's all.
Yeah, y'all got banned for less at a time when the NCAA has some power. Now,
whatever you're talking about,
they still got the same power.
They have the same power to ban them and take their wins away.
Listen, man,
it's the same people. It's the same power.
No, they don't have the same.
You making excuses as if this is your second team. You making excuses as if this is your second team, and you don't care what happens to them, which means you don't want nothing to happen to them.
What I'm saying to you is, even if it was Ohio State, I wouldn't care if anything happened to Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama.
You will be on here wanting us to get the death penalty. Stop it.
Because it's super low.
You want us to get the death penalty. You be on here saying, man, they deserve everything they get. They didn't deserve it. They won that national championship illegally. Stop it, Rob.
No, I wouldn't. No,
stop it, Rob.
Hey, Ohio State price is just like LA price.
Man, and see, people got to understand, Rob. Y'all have to understand. We've been here. We've been in this situation. That's why we're kind of invested in it, because guess what? Y'all took all of our stuff away from us for tattoos and equipment, which has absolutely nothing to do with the game of football. And they took wins. They punished the players. for selling their own things.
And how much pushback did the NCAA get for that? A lot. That's why they
From
don't
who?
have a team now.
Who they get pushback from? Because they just took all our stuff. We just got punished.
They got pushback from fans.
Hey, look, guess who got punished? No, guess who got punished? That undefeated team, that team that went 12-0 without an opportunity to play for a Big Ten championship, without an opportunity to play for a national championship and have another national championship up under our belt. We were punished. The players were punished. The university was punished. And it had absolutely nothing to do with what went down on that gridiron. And this had everything to do with what went down on the gridiron.
I understand that, but what I'm saying to you is the players did not send College Stallions out to record people's signs.
And the coaches didn't send the players to go get tattoos.
Oh, okay. I see what route. I see what route you're going.
I agree.
So why did coaches get punished? Why did Jim Tressel have to resign?
Listen, because at that time the NCAA
He didn't do nothing.
The NCAA has some power, bro. So
They still have the same power. They still run this stuff.
They don't, bro. They do not.
So who got the power? Who got the power? The conference?
Conferences, players. The NCAA have dropped the ball on too many things to where they don't feel like they can govern themselves in the right manner. That's why they dropped the ball on this NIL thing. Man, they should have been ahead of that. But they were too greedy. That's why you got conferences, you got universities that's willing to leave the NCAA and go independent instead of deal with the nonsense, bro. It's all about this bread. Michigan is an institution that is relevant to college sports. You got teams out here, you got conferences out here that do not want to see Michigan down in the gutter because it's bad for business. They wouldn't want to see anything happen to Ohio State. If it happened today, what happened then, they would be like, so what? Those players have the right to sell whatever they want. It's their property. I guarantee you, nobody will say anything about the fact that Ohio State did that today. They will so what? I'm telling you, it's about money, bro, and they are not going to do much to Michigan outside of maybe suspending a few coaches, maybe doing something as far as scholarships, maybe. But as far as bowl bans and all that, they're not doing that, bro. They're not doing it because it's bad for business. It's bad for business.
Hey, so in other words, you're saying, hey, everybody can just run all willy-nilly all over college football. No, because if they do what they want to do, and get 2 power conferences, and take the NCAA up out of it, which is the Big Ten and the SEC, I can guarantee you that.
Your sound went out. So I'm telling you right now, bro. I'm telling you that the NCAA don't have the power like they used to have, man.
Yes, they do. They have the power. Look. They already look what power they got. Michigan said, we just going suspending for a game. We're going suspending for 2 games, but we're gonna make those 2 games 3 and 4. So that he can play and so that he can coach in the most important game. Come on, bro. You got to make it make sense now. And guess what the NCAA came back and said? Oh, no, my friend. Like, they ain't even came up with that yet. So know that his 2-game suspension, and that's if they don't put it to 3 or 4, will start with game 1. He will miss that Oklahoma game. Mark my word.
He probably will, but listen.
No, that means that the NCAA has some power then. That means the NCAA said, oh, no, we're not taking your little 2 games and one of those games don't include your second game. We're not taking that.
Okay, but
that's power.
Okay, listen. Michigan throws that out there. knowing that the NCAA gonna come back with something a little bit different, but not a whole lot different, they okay with that because they like we're gonna set the tone for the direction we want this thing to go. And I'll guarantee you that's what they doing, bro. They're smart.
But they threw it out there. They threw it out there with hopes of him being able to coach that Oklahoma game. They threw it out there with hopes of the NCAA saying, "Oh, y'all suspended him for 2 games. Good job. We'll take that. We're fine with that." They already said they wasn't fine with that, bro.
Even though they said they weren't fine with it, don't mean that they're gonna change it. They might, but then again, they might not. I'm telling you, they already did enough to hardball when he was there. I'm telling you, the NCAA is.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't do. Harbaugh got off easy, bro. They didn't do nothing to him. Harbaugh got off. He got off easy, and he went to the NFL and got a big giant bag, and he got a national championship that they may take away from him.
That sounds
They may take it away. Yeah, they may take it away.
They ain't taking it away, bro. They ain't taking it away.
They took away our stuff. So we'll see. I'm just mad that they still that we still talking about it, man. That's crazy. Like, do what you gonna do, and not like really. I don't care. We defending national champions. We don't care what they do. I really don't care if they got to vacate victories and they got to turn over their gold pants and all of that. I don't care about that. Just get it done and get it over with so we can stop talking about it. Yeah, it shouldn't be out here for two years, bro. 2 years. See, that's crazy. Because if this, like I said, if this was a black coaching staff, oh my gosh. And I'm not gonna say I hate the pull the race card because we're in America and it is what it is. And let's just keep it all the way real. Like, if Harbaugh was Coach Prime, this university would be down. This university would be burning. A decision would have been made a year and a half ago. 2 years ago, as soon as they found out, they would have brought the hammer down on Coach Prime so hard and so fast, or Lovie Smith, anybody, that hammer is coming down.
I disagree because the fact that Deion Sanders is great for business, bro. I was just in Colorado. The people in Colorado are ecstatic that this dude brought $1 billion in income to freaking Boulder, Colorado.
The NCAA, they don't like Coach Prime. You know that. You see what they just did to his sons. They don't like
Coach Prime, but guess what they do like? That green. That green.
That green is only for Colorado.
No, the NCAA is banking off of them too.
Man, do you know, man, they will get Coach Prime up out of here in a heartbeat if they could.
Not when you bringing that kind of bread in, bro. They are not. I don't care who you are. The green is good. They don't care, bro. He ain't nothing. Barring him raping children or whatever, they ain't doing nothing to him as far as no illegal activity, as far as recruiting and none of that. They ain't doing too much of anything to anybody because if that money is rolling in there, bro, they can deal with them little infractions. I'm telling you.
Bruh, I watched too many Colorado games. If that was the case, they would have been helping Colorado win. It wouldn't have been questionable things happening out there on the football field. And I'll give you a perfect example when the illegal hit on Travis Hunter that put him out for 3 games and nothing happened. They didn't call targeting. That player didn't get suspended. Nothing happened. And it was one of the dirtiest plays in college football for that year. And nothing happened. Not only did they try to take the player out for the season, but that had a big factor in the total wins and losses for that season.
The dude didn't need to hit him, but it wasn't illegal.
Bro, it was that was targeting if you ever call it. That was targeting.
It was
That was a targeting hit. It was 110% targeting.
It was hitting a defenseless player, but it was all in the heat of a football game. We see that all the time.
They reviewed it. They reviewed it, bro. They reviewed them things.
And what did they say?
Wasn't targeting.
Exactly, because it wasn't. It wasn't targeting, bro. It was all. He was not.
That was not a clean. That was not a clean hit. That was dirty, bro. You can't get more defenseless than that.
It was dirty in the fact that the guy should not have hit him. I agree with that.
That wasn't telling me that, hey, we want Coach Farm to have success around here. No, you try to get his best player taken up out of here for the season.
Where was Boulder, Colorado at before Prime got there?
Where Florida State is right now.
They were in the mud.
Where Florida State is. Where Florida State is right now. Yeah, Moss B, I'm talking about your squad. That's where Colorado was.
So they like the fact that Boulder, Colorado is no longer in the mud. They're relevant now because of who? Coach Prime.
Who cares? Don't nobody care. Like they don't care. They don't care about Ohio State being Ohio State and all that. They don't care. All they care about is their money, and they're gonna get their money regardless of who on top. Regardless of who on top.
Very true. How much money was they getting in Boulder, Colorado before Prime? Not much, right? Not much. Not much.
But that's Colorado. That's not the NCAA. The NCAA still was getting their same money.
No, they weren't. They get way more money now because they still get a part of whatever Colorado is doing.
I'm just saying they will get that money. They're getting that money regardless of if Colorado is successful or not. Now it changes. It changes when you talk about. It changes when you talk about a university like the Ohio State University. Now that changes. Now we know. Now we know the bag. Now we know the bag is out there. Now we know the ratings is up. Now you're talking different when you talk about programs such as Ohio State and Texas. Although y'all don't have any recent national championships, but y'all still been Texas. Y'all haven't been Michigan. You know what I mean? So y'all haven't been Florida State. So y'all still been Texas. Y'all still been holding up that brand.
Yeah, for sure. But listen, man, listen. You don't always gotta come back and plug them damn Ohio State Buckeyes, bro. We could talk. I do. It's in the blood, baby. It's in the blood. You already know it. You already know. I can't open up my mouth without spitting them Buckeyes. Yeah. We could be talking about French toast, and you gonna come back to. Man, you can get the best French toast at Ohio State campus at the absolutely. With some of them Buckeyes on it, that they little balls. They like Reese cup, but they balls. You know what I mean? You throw a couple of them little Buckeyes up on there. You ever tasted one of them Buckeyes? I did when I used to eat peanut butter. I did. Oh, yo, eat the peanut butter no more. I don't eat peanut butter no more. No, I'm sick of peanut butter. I ate too much peanut butter as a kid. Too many peanut butter and jelly. Too many peanut butter and jelly in the terrace. We was with it, peanut butter and jelly, grilled cheese. We had to cut the grill. We had to cut that government cheese off and put the toast and the cheese in the oven. We ain't had toasters. We had to put it in the oven. Cheese boiling up. All that good stuff, man. Yeah, but good toast, bro. Man, I'm gonna let you get out of here. I know you got your dad with you, man. Y'all have a good rest of this Saturday, man, and your weekend. All right, yes, sir. All right, okay, bro, man. Love you, bro. WTP Sports Dudes. Right. We was in the building. Now we out. Hold on. There you go. There we go.